A show based on the facts, honesty, the man, the myth, the legend, Constitutionalist Joseph M. Leonard.
Welcome to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Leonard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and an occasional guest type podcast. Really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show! Hey gang, just a brief intro into Music Weeks. Here they are now. I was also considering going down the list of all the people that you see over the Music Weeks to be part of each episode, let you know who's coming or who may have been or whatnot. The list has grown. Too big to really go into here. I don't want to take that much time. Music Weeks, thankfully, has grown into a pretty big deal. So it's grown a lot more than just the one Music Week. It originally was going to start out as into multiple weeks now. Let's go ahead and get into this particular day's Music Weeks episodes, and I'm trying to drop them Monday through Friday each week of Music Weeks. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Constitutionalist Politics, though not really to do with Constitutionalist Politics. Another Music Weeks episode, mainly focusing on, I say mainly, I would have said solely, but a few artists have gone down the other rabbit holes, but mainly trying to focus on music and entertainment. I've got a recording coming with a singing telegram service. I didn't know that was still such a thing. So we'll talk to them about that. You did. My guest is shaking his head and said I did. If you did, in case the AI transcript subscriber didn't catch it, or you didn't catch it on audio. But at any rate, indeed, the guest, for those viewing behind the scenes, you see he's got a Pink Floyd shirt on. For Music Weeks, I'm digging out old content.
I got Pink Floyd on the wall. Wish you were here.
Yep.
For the early.
Good to know, for the benefit of those on audio only or the transcript. And I'm, in honor of Music Weeks, dug up an old Ted Nugent concert shirt. So at any rate, without further ado, welcome C.J.Plain, the music god. And normally a Christian show. Well, it is not normally. It is a Christian show. It always is a Christmas show. Always Christian, not a Christmas. I can't talk. A Christian show, but relax, people. We'll get into why he's called the music god. It's not a blasphemy thing. Please calm down, right? Welcome, C.J.Plain, a.k.a. the music god. How are you today, C.J.?
I am awesome. How are you?
I like I always say.
I'm still typing some notes for the song, so.
As I say, could be better, could be worse. And also, for the benefit of the audio, the video, they could see me mocking an aeroplane. Plane is not as in aeroplane. It is in from the plains of Minnesota to the hills.
I've heard them all growing up.
Right?
Growing up in the area I grew up in.
Yeah.
I heard the plane boss, the plane.
Of course.
I heard
Fantasy Island.
Plain bagels. I've made the joke that I wish I could copyright my last name because I would be a billionaire. Because like plain yogurt, plain bagels, plain M&Ms, plain everything. I would just be like, pay me, pay me, pay me.
Yeah. And they're like, home on the plane. Oh, no, that's home on the range for the deer and the antelope plane. But at any rate, let's do the proverbial normal first question. Who the heck are you? where were you born? Where were you raised? Where are you now? That sort of thing.
Well, I am the son of a truck driver, second generation. I'm second. I was a second generation truck driver. Grew up on a farm, 400-acre farm in the Thumb, a little town called Mayville. Spent a lot of time around Frankenmuth, Vassar, all of that.
Yeah.
Before I went into
For those who don't know, he's talking the Thumb of Michigan, right? When you talk,
yes. Out by the
however we
Saginaw
do that,
Bay.
right? The Thumb in the mitten.
I always tell people I was north of Flint and south of Saginaw, so it's the easiest way to kind of.
I actually even have Russian listeners. I have no idea why, but they'll be saying, "Where? What?" They, if they luckily even know where Michigan is, let alone where those are. But at any rate, please continue.
Raised on a 400-acre farm, wanted to be a rock star. It was my only ambition ever in life. Grandpa, said, "Hey, you should learn to farm." Dad said, "You should learn to drive a truck." I didn't want to hear it. I wanted as far away from the farm as I could get. Well, what if the rock star thing doesn't work out? What's your plan B? My plan B is I'm going to be a rock star. Well, what about plan C? I'm going to be a rock star. There was never any other plan. I knew music was it. Of course, tried to be a rock star. It didn't work out. Did go into trucking. It tried to kill me. I have this beautiful scar you can see running down the middle of my forehead. Half-inch chain tried to kill me. I walked away from it with 87 stitches and a brain injury, but I'm still on this side of the dirt. So we're going to chalk that up to having really awesome guardian angels and,
Yeah, I just got done in February, the last 2 weeks for Health Weeks. And it's like there's a continuing theme here with several Music Weeks guests that have had a health scare issue too. My health is bad. I'm on disability. That's why I'm able to do this podcast.
That's me. I'm the dumbest thing about my injury is the government says because I've suffered a traumatic brain injury, I'm at risk of having a seizure at any time. So I can't drive a semi-truck with solely me in it. No, I could go drive a school bus with 80 children in it. I could drive a city bus. I could drive a limousine, but I cannot drive a semi-truck.
Yeah.
So
a semi-truck, you still could be a hazard to others on the road. But your point is perfectly made, though. They'll let you do those other things.
Yeah. I can't drive a semi with only me in it, but I can drive a school bus with 80 children in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the government cares about your kids. So
right. Yeah. I didn't think we were going to get into politics in this episode, but there it is, right? There's the lack of brain capacity in those who think they know better than the rest of everybody and make the rules over everybody.
Yeah, like it's, people that have never driven a semi that are making rules for people that drive semis it's pretty ridiculous because it's like, okay, until you've sat in one of these things and dealt with the traffic, the time constraints, the stress, and everything else, you don't understand. You think you may understand, but I promise you, you don't. And people that say, "Oh, they're just steering wheel holders, or they're just this or that," I'll challenge any one of them. Come with me. I'll put you in a truck for 6 hours. 6 hours. That's all it's going to take. I'll take you out on the highway, or I'll take you out on a back road, country road, and you try to turn one of these things around a corner. You try to back one of these things up within you have about 9 foot normally from side to side to back one of these up. If you could do it, then I will gladly shake your hand and say, I'll shut up. But 99.9% of people have no idea what truckers go through.
Yeah.
And
nor have they even ever been in the passenger seat of one for any time, let alone. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously not like flying an airplane because you're up there. You're really coming crashing down at hundreds of miles an hour hitting the planet. But still,
Yeah.
You, with that many tons of vehicle, ramming into potentially a cement wall or other vehicles
or anything. I mean,
is dangerous and very much an issue. You've got to know what you're doing. You don't just put anybody behind the wheel of a truck.
and it's not just behind the wheel. My injury happened because I was driving a flatbed that was strapped down, but the beginning and the end of the load had to be chained down. I was coming through Denver and I felt the rear of the trailer just a little bit. And I said, okay, that load is off center. So I pulled over and I stopped. And I went to the back and I checked the straps. Straps were good. Got to the last chain. The last chain it didn't feel right. So I was like, okay, I'm going to unhook this and rehook it. Well, as I went to unhook it, one of the links in the chain was bad and it broke. And I heard it, that sound like tin or aluminum makes when you hit it. I heard that ping, and luckily, when I heard it, I went like this, and when the chain come back, it was a glancing blow, sort of at a 45-degree angle.
Ooh, thankfully.
Knocked me off my
head
feet.
on.
Stood right back up. Stood right back up, kind of went like that, and went, son of a... I ran in the truck, grabbed the shirt, stuck it over my
for the benefit of audio and the transcript, obviously, he's holding his hand to his head. It's like, oh boy, there's a hole there where there shouldn't be.
Yeah, so it sliced my forehead open from the bridge of my nose to the top of my forehead. Guy and a gentleman, older gentleman, he driving by to pick up, he saw all the blood and all that, and he stopped. And he goes, you need me to call 911? And I was like, where's the closest hospital? And he's like, about 3 miles up the road. I'm like, just take me to the hospital. So I jumped in his truck and he drove me to the hospital and called my boss. And of course, first thing my boss said is, well, what about the truck? Let's just say I let out a string of expletives that probably shouldn't be repeated because at that point I wasn't thinking about no truck. I'm like, yeah, I'm standing here with my head busted open, brain is leaking out. I really don't care about your truck right now, bro. Like that, it ain't going anywhere. And he goes, well, that's expensive steel coils. Those things are 25,000 pounds a piece. Ain't nobody picking one of those up and carrying it off.
Right. It's not as if a local car thief is likely going to be able to hop in the rig and steal it. Yeah.
Unless you know how to hotwire a Peterbilt 579, it ain't going nowhere, bro. So that happened. Sadly, I'm on disability now, but I am back in school trying to get my bachelor's degrees in media communications and music production so that I can have a new career. And it's kind of where we're at now. I've built this studio out of a spare bedroom, and I do what you do. I podcast and do internet radio, and I have a music reaction channel.
Yeah. Well, you've got a nice built studio. For those looking on behind the scenes video, lifting up the green screen to show the ugly couch that I joke about all the time. That's why I use a green screen. I have a bedroom that I could convert. I don't have the money to do it. But at any rate, let's get back to the music god thing. Says here the moniker was given to him by a 7th grade music teacher. So let's go down that rabbit hole. So did he like you or did you piss him off?
It was a her. And
okay.
It was a choir teacher. I grew up in the front seat of a Peterbilt truck. My dad's truck driver right now, 55 years he has been driving. Dad said he's going to retire when they force him to retire, which will be never.
So a lot of time in his passenger seat, in your own singing along with the radio, no doubt, right?
This was 1973, 1974, 1975. There were no computers, no cell phones, no flat screen TVs, video games, any of that. So my entertainment was books and music, which is why I read 700 words a minute and know pretty much everything about music. Dad's favorite artist is Bob Seger. Dad will physically fight you over Bob Seger. Like if you were
I'd be wanting to want to fight because I'm sorry, I don't quite get the fascination. He's got good stuff, mind you. I'm not saying his stuff is all crap.
Yeah.
Not saying that, but like Bruce Springsteen, also, I don't get the fascination. I'm sorry. I think there's a whole lot better Detroit artists.
I'd say I will agree with you on Bruce Springsteen. I don't on Bob Seger, but that's okay. Anyways, fast forward to 7th grade. The teacher was having us perform some song. We've Got Tonight. That's what it was. It was We Got Tonight. And I pointed out to her, she said that it was a Kenny Rogers and Sheena Easton song. And I said, actually, it was a Bob Seger song.
Yeah.
She said, you're wrong. I said, no, I'm not wrong. It was Bob Seger, 1977, Tough Man album, 3rd cut, 1st side on the vinyl, or 3rd song if you have the cassette. She said, you're wrong. So I went home that night. I pulled Dad's vinyl out. I took the vinyl back to school, and I pointed out to her, Bob Seger, Tough Man, 1977, song 3, side A. And she just shrugged and said, well, aren't you just the little music god? And as 7th graders do, after hearing that, everybody referred to me by that name because I was the kid who, no matter where I went, I had a backpack. And it was filled with, I had my little realistic cassette player from Radio Shack. And everywhere I went, I had a backpack full of cassettes that I always had 50 or 60 cassettes stuffed in that thing at any one time. So, you know, I was like a walking music library, sort of my friends knew that if they wanted to borrow music, all they had to do was ask me. I'd reach into the backpack. What do you want? Country, rock, you want blues, you want hair bands. You know, I had just this huge variety of everything. You want Boston, you want Survivor, you want Chicago, you want Journey, REO Speedwagon, you know.
I like all those, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I was the kid who always had music. So my friends always knew that I was the kid in school who knew more about music than anybody. But when she said that, combined it with the fact of what they already knew about me, it just sort of stuck. And eventually, when I started this social media thing, I sort of needed a brand. I needed something that was memorable. And I just thought, you know, I'm going to use this because it's either people are going to love it or it's going to piss people off. But either way, it's going to get a response. And I've sort of run with it. I've had multiple people try to imitate it. I had one guy who tried to copyright the Metal God. I had one that tried to copyright the Music King, various forms of it, and I'm pretty protective of it. I'm like, look, you know, I don't want to take you to court, but this is my brand now, and I will. Like, this is a social media thing. I have a YouTube channel with it, you know, Music God Reacts. I have the food review channel now, the Music God Reviews that I do with my son. So
I didn't know that one. I was going to
that
get
one's
to
brand new. That one's brand new. We're just kicking it off. We haven't even really done.
Well, I
yet.
also see behind you Judas Priest. It's not the Screaming for Vengeance album, but it's got the eagle like from Screaming.
It actually is the Screaming for Vengeance.
Oh, is it? It looks like different coloring though, because the album itself is yellow.
Yeah, it's just a poster I bought at Disc Traders. I have AC/DC. We have Deadpool, Goonies. We have the Pink Floyd ones there that I painted. They're actually glow in the dark if you hit them with a black light. It's directly below Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here.
And also, I think I think I see Red Wing player bobbleheads over behind you too. Top shelf there.
Those are a wide variety. I have the guys from Slayer. I have the guys from Motorhead. I have 3 Queen ones. I have Ice Cube, Sir Mix-a-Lot, and Biggie Smalls one.
No, I'm talking about the bobbleheads. Look a little more to the left up top there. I thought I saw some Red Wing bobbleheads. The hockey team. No,
I have a Duck Dynasty one. There's a Skull one. There's a couple of glowing clowns.
My screen is just too small to make it out. But at any rate, I was going to go into the YouTube channel, The Music God Reacts. How long have you been doing that one?
I'm in my 3rd year now. That started completely as a joke. I love music reactions, but most people
there's so many channels out there of it. Yeah.
Some of them are really good. Some of them are just really dumb and cheesy. The ones who overreact, they throw the headphones and they kick the chair. And I'm like, dude, it's a good song, but it ain't throw a $350 pair of headphones across the room good.
Right. It's all about them and them making a spectacle of themselves rather than
my buddy
honest, earnest reaction to the music. Yeah.
So my buddy said, you should start a music reaction channel because you know so much about music. You're the music guy. And I'm like, nobody wants to listen to the old guy talk about obscure music. So I started a channel just to shut him up. By the 3rd reaction, I had about 4,000 subscribers and about 200,000 views. And I thought, maybe people do want to listen to the old guy talk about obscure music. So we've run with it. And I haven't done any reactions in about the last 6 months or so. I've been busy with school and building some other stuff, but we're going to get back to it real soon. I just bought a brand new camera, and it's one of the real fancy Sony ZV-1, so we're going to go high-tech redneck with it.
One of my favorite reaction things is whoever thought to put together young kids react to Weird Al.
Yeah.
I get such a kick out of these kids. Like, sometimes they know the song, sometimes they don't, and they think, wow, his version's better.
Some reactions are really genuine. And then you see some that you just know they're disingenuous at best. Like, you'll see one that'll say, rapper reacts to first time ever seeing Tupac California Love. And I'm like, how can you be a rapper and have never heard California Love? It's literally one of the biggest songs of all time. There's no human possible way. I saw one, this guy was my age. And he was like, first time ever hearing Jump Around. How the hell did you grow up in the 80s and the 90s? You didn't hear Jump Around.
Yeah, like it or not, you would have heard it. And I agree. They're disingenuous. It's a form of clickbait.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And it's annoying because, look, people love reactions. You could get a ton of views by just being honest. I don't clickbait. I've never used clickbait. I said Music God reacts to Damash. Music God reacts to Elite Pata, Nightwish, Gary Moore, or whatever it is. And that's the thing. Like, I don't say first time ever hearing blah, 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 because 9 times out of 10, it's not my first time hearing it. It's the first time watching videos, because I never watched videos during the MTV era. I was never, MTV wasn't really my thing. I was too active and too high strung to sit and watch videos for a long time. Yeah. I would catch the occasional one here and there. So while I can sit here and say that I've heard Whitesnake probably 200,000 times, I don't think I've ever actually seen a Whitesnake video.
And there's a big difference. Big difference.
I could literally say, this is my first time seeing Here I Go Again video, because I've never sat and actually watched the video. Heard the song a million times.
Yeah.
Never watched the video.
That gives you good new angles, comparing the video and whether it really fits, or if it's just something silly, stupid that they put over the song, or does it complement the song, or is it just idiotic? It's like one of the most famous YouTube or music videos, the Aha song, right? It's like people would have never known the Aha song without the video appearing on MTV, and then it going, as we would say today, viral then with requests on the radio to hear the song because everybody fell in love with the video. So you've got two different angles to play off there, because I've seen some great videos that are better than the song, and some great songs that the video is like, how the bleep did you come up with that idea for that song?
Yeah. I mean, and it's I react to the stuff I love, but I also react to stuff that I love really outside of the box music. I love the mainstream stuff and the classic stuff, but I love stuff that is outside of the box. I love when people take music and do things with it that your brain says that shouldn't work. But then you hear it and you think, wow, that works.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite TV shows is the TV show Justified. I am friends with the guys who created the theme song, Gangsta Grass. When Rich told me he was starting that group, before the TV show, before the song, all of that, he's like, dude, I got this idea. We're going to take over the world with it. And I was like, okay, what's your idea? And he goes, we're going to combine New York City hip hop and bluegrass. And I was like,
yeah, odd combination. Yeah.
no, bluegrass and Wu-Tang don't go together. And he was like, dude, it does. Think about it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know any bluegrass people who'd listen to hip hop. And I don't know any hip hop people who'd listen to bluegrass.
But then you hear it.
He goes, think about it on a deeper level. And I was like, okay, like what? He goes, what is New York City rap about? What is Wu-Tang about? I was like, gangsters, guns, drugs. And he goes, okay, now think about the Appalachians. Think about the Appalachian people. What were they? And I was like,
moonshiners and gun runners.
Moonshiners, gun runners. Dude, they were both gangsters on opposite sides of the coin. And I was like, holy crap. Whoa. So he sends me
mind
the song.
blown.
He sends me the song, and I'm like, okay, it's a banjo and a fiddle with this 808 beat and this kid rapping over it. And I'm like, that shouldn't work. But that might be the coolest damn thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, this dude is rapping like Method Man over a freaking banjo and fiddle, bro. Like, he's rapping over Bill Monroe. And I was just like, that's crazy. So, but I love that spirit. I love when people take music and just do really crazy mashups. When you hear mashups, somebody did a mashup of I Heard It Through the Grapevine and Round and Round by Rat. Now, your brain says Marvin Gaye and Rat should not go together, but it is one of the greatest mashups I've ever heard. It works. It's Marvin Gaye singing I Heard It Through the Grapevine with the backing music of dan, 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 that freaking guitar riff from Round and Round. And it's like, why does that work? That shouldn't work. Like, they're not even in the same chord. They're not even in the same time signature, but you've manipulated it to where I love that. I love the spirit. Music is freedom. Music is the ability to express yourself in a way that other people can't or whatever. And
yeah. Well, you're reminding you're reminding me of the Rush tune Spirit of Radio, right? And
yes.
and like times change, new people come up with new ideas, and Rush in that song, all this modern machinery making modern music can still be open-hearted. It's really just a question of your honesty. Yeah, are you a magician? No. A musician or a computer tech nerd generating a bunch of weird stuff, but still it can be good and people could still like it. But yeah, it's not traditional music. But yeah, times change. But looking back on your reacts, is there one that really stands out that seems to have blown your mind, that going in that might be your favorite, or it was so unexpected when you did watch and react to it that it stands out to you?
So it would absolutely be the first time
Dead air is not our friend, you know that. Come on. Dead air, we can't have dead air.
It was the first time I heard Dimash. So I did a reaction video to Alipata, who is a fingerstyle guitar player from Indonesia. He doesn't sing. He just sort of comes home from work, sits in the room with his daughter colors, and he plays just fingerstyle guitar for her. And somebody said, well, if you like Elite, you should check out this kid named Dimash. I said, okay, little bit of background on him. He's from Kazakhstan. He's a classically trained singer, blah, blah, blah. So I looked up a picture of him. He looks Asian, like he belongs in a boy band, like a K-pop band or something. And my first reaction was like, this is going to sound like BTS or something, right? And they're like, just react to it. Like, you'll love this. And I was like, okay. So I start the video, and within about 30 seconds, he's hitting notes that are just alien for a human being to hit. I'm in tears by the end of the song. I have really no words for what this kid is singing. And I come to find out he's trained since he was 4 years old. His dad's a famous musician in Kazakhstan. His mom's an art teacher or something. He's got a 7.5 octave vocal range with like 20 semitones. The human voice, the average human voice is 2.5 to 3 octaves. So his vocal range is almost double, almost 3 times what the average thing is.
It's potentially above Mariah Carey.
It is. I have heard him sing like Mariah. I've heard him sing like Bocelli. I've heard him do the lowest notes. I've heard him hit the whistle notes that Mariah
only dogs hear. Yeah.
He does it so flawlessly. He'll drop from a high note to a low note and then into a whisper, and he does it so flawlessly it takes your breath away.
Okay.
Like he's
all right. We've promoted him enough.
Yeah. I don't really have a good way to describe him other than to say watch him.
Right. And again, that's the Music God Reacts channel on YouTube. Is it carried on like Rumble or anywhere else, or just YouTube?
No, it's just on YouTube right now. I am trying to set up an audio side of it. Just because
you could carry it so many more places, obviously.
Well, that, and I can monetize it better. The downside to doing music reactions is when you use music that's copyrighted, you don't get a copyright strike, but what happens is the artist gets paid and you don't. So when I did the Nightwish reaction for their cover of High Hopes by Pink Floyd, that got a whole ton of views. Like the majority of my views was in the beginning was that song. And I've been informed by somebody who knows the whole algorithm, this and that the number of views versus this, and this, I've probably made the band Nightwish about $4,000.
And you don't, reaction. Yeah. I mean, if you could at least
get a dime of that.
Right. I mean, just 1% would be nice.
And that's what I push for. Like, look, people who do reactions, I'm not saying we deserve the whole pie, but
obviously not. Yeah.
If we have a 12-minute reaction and that video is only 4 minutes of it, okay, how about 25%? You cut us 25%. Because maybe to a lot of people, 25% of 4,000 is not a lot.
But
I'll take $1,500.
Yeah, and add that up over a couple dozen pieces, and you're talking some real decent money. But we're at the point where I would normally start to wrap up the show, but we're going to push it a little further because I haven't yet gone into you with the podcast, the Noise Report. So let's talk about that, then we'll wrap it up because I usually do 30-minute episodes. My longest is like an hour 10, but if I go over 30, I want to stay under an hour, but so let's extend it a little because we've got to talk about the Noise Report podcast.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Joseph M. Leonard, host of Christutions, taking a brief moment to thank myarctic.com. Together we share the Christian and family value of honoring family. MyArkit.com helps you do that. Preserving family memories online also, therefore, can be shared online. Think of MyArkit like a Noah's Ark for images, audio, video, preserving, honoring your family. Thank you again to the folks over at myarkit.com.
I interview cool and interesting people, or pretty much anyone I can con into coming on the show. We talk about music, movies,
like I was able to con you into this one. Yeah.
It wasn't a hard sell, bro. Like when you threw it out there, I was kind of like, you know what, let me look them up. And when you said music by the numbers, I'm like, you know what, I've already got that playlist created. So I fixed it a little bit, added some newer stuff, but we do pop culture. It has been very surreal doing this podcast. As a kid who grew up in the country and then went into foster care, moved from foster home to foster home, one of the things that I've sort of always done is I've always had a wall full of posters. Back in the day, they were pictures from magazines of all the bands that I loved and sort of wanted to be. And at this point, thanks to the beauty of technology and the beauty of the internet and the beauty of Zoom and all of that, I not only have interviewed most of the artists that I used to lay in my bed and dream about being like, I've got a whole phone full of phone numbers of these guys that I am friends with, and I talk to them on a regular basis. And I've interviewed multiple times. I've gone to concerts, hung out with them, had burgers. I've friends with guys that I wanted to be at 15. So it's very surreal to me, and I don't take it for granted, and I have fun with it. And much like you, it's really just it's an expensive hobby, sort of. But I love meeting new people. I love putting stuff out there, and hey, if people like it, people like it. If they don't, well, you know what? It keeps me out of trouble. So
right, exactly. I talk about all the time. I also have on another podcaster as part of Music Weeks, who Adam Blaylock, aka Blayrock, kind of same situation. Somebody said, "Hey, instead of Blaylock, go with Blayrock," right? So kind of the same thing. Somebody gave him the nickname that he now uses. He does a podcast called Heart Songs, which I thought was really cool. What are your top favorite songs that relate in your life and all that? Yeah. So I loved having him on, which is why I'm loving having you on also to talk about your noise report. And yeah, I was going to say, I'm on disability. I'm home all the time. Yeah. And I've said in another episode, people sometimes get the wrong impression from me. With my health issues, I'm not upbeat and peppy all the time like I appear on this show.
Right.
I have fits and bursts of good up moments, but like I said on that other one, when I'm done with you, I'm going to be wiped out and needing a nap.
Yeah.
But this gives me something I can do from home, not feel worthless.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I have moments where I'm very animated like this, and I talk about everything. I read 700 words a minute. I have a 143 IQ, so I am constantly reading books or taking in new information like a computer. But I'm a father, and I'm fiercely defensive of my kids. So the quickest way to get me to fight is say something to my kids, bro. Like we were in McDonald's a while back, and my son, my youngest one, my last one, he's the most gentle, loving kid you'll ever meet. He's just looking out the window, and a guy come into the lane next to us, and he looked over at my son and, "What are you looking at, you little effing?" And I immediately threw it into the park, and I come out of the door, and I'm at his window, and I'm like, "Look, homie, you caught me on the right day. I just got paid. I got bail money today. We can have this out right here, bro." And I'm just like, I'm normally not I try not to be confrontational because I was as a teenager, but I'm still that way. Like if you come after my mom, my kids, or my family, I will do things that will
Yeah.
make 80s movies look like Disney. Like I
All right,
promise
well,
you, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme have
yeah.
nothing on.
We've gone down yet another rabbit hole. Let's reel it back in. What's the focus on the noise report?
It's like I said, it's music and books, pop culture, anything. I've got to interview my favorite musicians. One of my favorite interviews, I got to interview Lloyd Kaufman. I'm a huge horror fan, and Lloyd is the one who did Toxic Avenger. He did Class of Nukem High, movies that are so terrible that you can't look away. He created Tromaville. It's an entire trauma universe. So it was a lot of stuff that I've done over the years. I've had little Easter eggs in my things that are sort of dedicated to Lloyd and what he does. Because Lloyd will make a movie with $43 and a 6-pack of tacos. But they're uniquely Lloyd Kaufman. Like they're sort of like
the
Mel
saying goes, they're a train wreck, and people just can't look away from the train wreck.
It's like a Mel Brooks movie. When you see a Mel Brooks movie, you know a Mel Brooks movie. And Lloyd is sort of the opposite end of Mel. It's uniquely him. It's him, but it's just it's Mel Brooks done on Aldi's budget, basically. So, I love that, again, that spirit of just refusing to take no for an answer. When the movie theater said your movie sucked, Lloyd went out and created his own movie studio and did his own movies and self-financed it. And then they become cult classics, and now they're horror cult classics. And I love that spirit, man. I love the little guy. I love somebody who refuses to give up and doesn't take no for an answer and does it anyway. When people say, your music sucks. Okay, cool. You don't like my music? Go listen to somebody else. I won't keep on singing. I know I'm a terrible singer. I don't care. I like singing, so I'm going to sing.
Well, hey, we were talking about Singer and Springsteen earlier. I thought I also don't get the fascination with
there's
the movie that was just out. Bob Dylan. It's like that.
Yeah, there's
oh
so
my
many.
God, that voice is so horrible. Get him.
There's so
God
many.
Almighty.
I mean, this is another whole episode. I don't get the fascination with the Rolling Stones. Not that they're terrible musicians. I just don't relate on any level to anything they've ever performed. Now look, hey, 75 years as a band, awesome. Congratulations. You've
Massive
done
accomplishment.
things, but not a fan. You too, not a fan. Taylor Swift, not a fan.
Yeah. Well,
Taylor
Swift is another one of those, because I mentioned Seeger and Springsteen. Taylor Swift, lover or hater, Shake It Off was a great concept and an even better video. Like Lady Gag Me, I call her. Poker Face, absolutely brilliant use of a term. Miley Sorass, yes, as I call her. Wrecking Ball. I don't even know that she wrote that one, though, or not. But again, I don't have to like someone to appreciate the brilliance of something.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as another person who's from the Detroit area, I'm up north of you a little bit. When I hear people say Eminem's the greatest rapper of all time, not even the greatest rapper in Detroit. He's not the greatest of all. He's not even the best in Detroit. What do you mean? I can name you a dozen rappers that if he were to get into a rap battle with them right now, would wipe the floor with him. Royce the 5'9", Aztec the Barfight, Bang Belushi, Lil Tony. There's just a line of these guys that I think are better than him. Now, yes, does he have the record sales? Yes. Did he do amazing things with Dre? Yes. I give him all the credit in the world, the respect where respect is due. But M has never said a single thing to me that relates to me on any level. No, I hear, and
I agree with you. I agree with you. M without Dre would have been nowhere.
And he was. I was working in a record store when his Infinite record come out. We couldn't give that thing away. We tried. It was taking up shelf space. We just wanted the space for other stuff. We couldn't give it away. Horrible. And then he meets Dre, blows up, blah, 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 story told. Like I said, NF, opposite end of the spectrum. I hear NF, I love NF. NF says more in a couple sentences than M has said over his entire career.
I don't know that one. I know there's an NFX that I've heard his song, The Statement, and that's like, whoa.
No, that's the same person. It's not. Is it? It's not. Yeah, it's just NF. He's from Alpena, and he's basically the Christian version of M.
Okay, and, The Statement. Brilliant. Oh, look that one up. The Statement. Look that up on YouTube.
Brilliant.
Whenever YouTube improperly identifies my show's underlying licensed Alex Grohl Stomping Rock 4 Shots tune as somebody else's and makes me alter it. It doesn't happen once out of every 10 episodes. 9 out of 10 will be fine, but that 10th time, oh my God, there's a copyright issue here. So, all right, fine, just to get it up. All the other places, no issue, but them, so okay. I think you're going to make me replace it. I pick FX's Statement to go under it. But at any rate, we have the time has blown past, and like all guests, I could talk to you for hours, days, weeks, but then no one would listen because the show would be too long. So let's wrap it up.
And they're done that.
Yeah. Do you have a website of your own that you drive people to?
I don't have a website right now. I am working on it. I lost the domain for a while, but I'm very easy to find. Just look up Music God C.J.Plain. It's the same on everything. The website, if it does come back up over the next couple of weeks, is going to be under my media company, which is another play on words. It's Riot on the Set Media. It'll be riotonthesetmedia.rocks. So that will be where my music reviews will be. It'll be where all the videos will be. Basically, it's just quiet on the set, but with the word riot at the beginning. We were coming up with a name, and that just kind of popped into my head, and I thought, hey, that's a cool play on words. I like that, because I make a lot of noise and I do destructive things like a riot. So
okay, that's great.
Riot on the set.
And it's C.J.Plain, not as in the aeroplane, Plane. It's Plain, Plain. The music. Yep. The Music God, thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, man. It's I love being on this side of the microphone and instead of on your side. So
all right, take care. God bless.
Thank you for having tuned in for Constitutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help.
Wham Radio, 1600 AM and 92.7 FM is your conservative flamethrower. Weekdays, Steve Gruber starts things off at 6 a.m. Gruber gives his perspective on the issues of the day. At 9 a.m., Glenn Beck blazes the airwaves with his nationally syndicated program. From noon to 3, it's Dennis Prager. At 3 o'clock, it's Wham's own Theron X. On the Edge, Theron tells it exactly as he sees it. At 6, it's The Dana Show, your conservative alternative. At 8, don't miss Joe Pags. Weekends are filled with conservative talk as well. Fingers Malloy, Thomas LeDuc, The Abolitionists Roundtable, A Moment of Clarity with Pastor Rick, Your American Heritage with Ed Bondarenka, Dave Janda's Operation Freedom, and Dick Kupke's Trigger Talk. You can even get links to Wham podcasts from Dave, Dick, and of course Theron, all from their pages on our website, whamradio.com. Keep it locked on Wham Radio, 1600 AM and 92.7 FM in southeastern Michigan, and whamradio.com anywhere in the world.